Hello class, Miss Emami here, and today we are going to have the last lesson for our trigonometry unit. Today we're still going to focus on cosine law. In the last lesson you learned how to find an unknown side using the cosine law. In this lesson we are going to focus on how we can use cosine law to find an unknown angle. So let's first review how did the cosine law look like. If we had a non-right triangle, okay, and please remember again, like sine law, cosine law also is used in non-right triangle. If we have a non-right triangle and we either know three sides or we have two sides and the angle between or contained in them, which was like a scenario, if you remember. For example, we knew 2, 6, and we knew this angle was 40 degrees. So if we had two sides and the angle contained, we could not use sine law and we had to use cosine law. Now you could use the cosine law for each one of the three sides. So for example, if you wanted to find side A, you would write a squared equals the other two squared and added, so b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c, and then the cosine of the angle between them, which was cosine of A. As I told you before, the side which we have here matches the opposite angle that we use the cosine to calculate. So let's keep that in mind and let's see how we can use cosine law to find an unknown angle. So the question says find angle A. Find angle A. The important hint here is that if you want to write angle A, and here we have to use cosine law because we have three sides. When we have three sides, we have to use cosine law. You have to write the cosine law because there are three ways you can write the cosine law for three different sides. If you want to find angle A, you have to write the cosine law for the corresponding opposite side, which is going to be side A. So I start by labeling. So this is angle A, so this is going to be side A. Angle B, so side B, and angle C, side C. Now I want to find angle A, so I am going to write the cosine law for side A. So that means A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C cosine of angle A. And at this point, this is the unknown. This is what we are interested to find. So let's start by substituting. So A is 30, so I'm going to write 30 squared equals B squared, which is 38 squared, plus C squared, which is 26 squared, minus 2 times B, which is 38 times C, 26 cosine of angle A. Now, and comparing to the other calculations that we've done so far, this one is a little bit complicated. Now, in this case, the order of operation is very important. So what we are going to do is we are going to figure out what is 30 squared. So 30 raised to the exponent 2 is 900. So 900 equals, we have to find out what is 38 squared. So 38 to the exponent 2, 1444 plus 26 squared is 676 minus, now you have to do this multiplication. So 2 times 38 times 26, which is 1976 cosine A. Now because you want to isolate these other two have to move to the other side, and please remember that when you move it to the other side you have to subtract it from the other side. So 900 stays the same, but then these two, because they go to the other side of equal sign, the opposite operation, so you're actually subtracting them, equals negative 1976 cosine A. Now we are going to do this subtraction. So 900 minus 1444 minus 676. So that is negative 1220 equals negative 1976 cosine A. Now you want to isolate cosine A, and if you think about it, cosine A is multiplied by this number. So in order to isolate cosine A, you have, because this is actually multiplication, you have to do the opposite operation, which is division. So you divide both sides by negative 1976. Negative 1976. Now these two cancel each other. So this divided by negative 1976 is 0.617. 0.617 equals cosine A. Now I'm going to write it again here just in case you forgot. To find angle, use inverse key. So that is this one. Please don't forget about that. So that means that angle A will be inverse cosine of this number, so inverse cosine of 0.617, 51.9. So angle A is 51.9 degrees. As I said, it is a little bit complicated comparing to when you find an unknown side. Finding an unknown angle is a little bit complicated. Make sure that you follow the steps properly in terms of order of operation. So let's do one more example here. Now again we have a non-right triangle and we have 3 sides. Okay, so 3 sides given right away, it means cosine law. So first thing to do is to label. So angle P, that means this will be side P. Angle Q, so this is going to be side Q. Angle R, this is going to be side R. Now we are going to find angle Q. So that means we have to write the cosine law for side Q. So Q squared equals P squared R squared minus 2 times P times R cosine Q. Now we substitute. So Q is 5. So 5 squared equals 6 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 6 times 7 cosine Q. 5 squared is 25 equals 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49 minus, we have to do the multiplication, so we are going to do 2 times 6 times 7, 84 minus 84 cosine Q. Now first we want to isolate this. That means these two need to go to the other side of the equation sign, and as I've told you before, when they go to the other side the sign switches. So positive 36 will become minus 36 minus 49 equals negative 84 cosine Q. So 25 minus 36 minus 49. So negative 60 equals negative 84 cosine Q. Now we want to isolate cosine Q, and cosine Q is multiplied by 84. So we do the opposite, which is division. So these two reduce. Negative 60 divided by negative 84 is 0.714. So 0.714 equals cosine Q. Again, I'm sure you remember that in order to find the angle, you need to use the inverse key. So angle Q equals inverse cosine of 0.714 inverse cosine of 0.714 44.4. So angle Q approximately 44.4 degrees. We are going to finish our lesson with a word problem. So you can see that this sine and cosine can be applied to some real world problems as well. So there are 3 lights that are located in a park. The distance between the first and the second light is 15 meters. The distance between the second and the third light is 19 meters. The distance between the first and the third light is 17 meters. And we want to find the angle between the second and the third light. So first of all, again, there is no the triangle is not given to you, so that's a good place to start. So this is our first light, this is our second light, and this is our third light. So the distance between the first light and the second light is 15 meters. So this is 15. The distance between the second and the third is 19 meters. And the distance between first and third light is 17 meters. Now let's see what the question is asking. We want the angle between the second and the third. So this is the second light, this is the third light. So the angle that is formed by these 2 lights is actually this angle. This is what the question is asking for. Angle between the third light and the second light. First, we have to give it a name. So let's say I call it triangle ABC, and then this is going to be side A, side B, side C. Now, right away, 3 sides known. That means cosine law. And we are trying to find angle A. That means we have to write the cosine law for side A. So let's get started. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C cosine A. Now let's put the numbers in. So A is 19. So 19 squared equals B is 15 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 15 times 17 cosine angle A.